Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. On March 23 in the year 878, a pivotal event in English history unfolded, one that would eventually shape the future of the kingdom. On this day, the Viking army, led by the formidable Guthrum, dealt a decisive defeat to the forces of King Alfred the Great, who was then still a young ruler of Wessex. This clash would come to be known as the Battle of Edington, though its immediate aftermath would mark a moment of seeming triumph for the Vikings. The battle, however, would serve as a backdrop for one of the most significant turning points in the formation of medieval England. Alfred, the son of King Ethelwulf, ascended to the throne of Wessex in 871, during a turbulent period for the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. The Viking invasions of the 9th century, which were fueled by the Norsemen's desire to seize riches and expand their territories, were already wreaking havoc on the once unified kingdom. The Great Heathen Army, as the Viking forces were called, had already launched a devastating campaign, capturing several kingdoms in what would eventually lead to the disintegration of Anglo-Saxon England into smaller, constantly contested territories. By 878, Alfred had found himself in a dire situation. The Viking forces had already devastated large portions of southern England, forcing the Anglo-Saxons to fight on multiple fronts. When Guthrum's army arrived in Wessex, it seemed like the kingdom might soon fall as well. Alfred was forced to retreat into the marshes of Somerset, along with his surviving troops and followers. It was here, in this sanctuary of nature, that Alfred and his warriors would regroup and prepare for what seemed like their last stand. But Alfred's tactical genius would shine during these dark times, and he did not simply wait to be attacked. Instead, he launched a series of guerrilla tactics against the Viking forces, using the landscape to his advantage. While most of his forces were in hiding, Alfred's forces quietly gathered strength, drawing new recruits from the countryside. In the spring of 878, Alfred launched a bold and audacious counterattack. The forces of Wessex, now bolstered by his strategic alliances with local lords, marched out of their marshland stronghold to face Guthrum's army at Edington, in present-day Wiltshire. At the Battle of Edington, Alfred and his army struck decisively, catching the Vikings by surprise. Guthrum, though a seasoned leader, was overwhelmed by the speed and the intensity of the Anglo-Saxon assault. Despite the Vikings' superior numbers, Alfred's forces outmaneuvered them, forcing Guthrum and his men into a retreat. In the wake of the defeat, Guthrum, along with his remaining forces, was forced to seek peace with Alfred. The terms of the peace agreement, famously known as the Treaty of Wedmore, involved Guthrum's conversion to Christianity and the division of England into two territories, one controlled by the Anglo-Saxons and the other by the Vikings, which would come to be known as the Danelaw. Alfred's victory at Edington and the subsequent treaty marked a significant moment in the history of the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. While the Vikings were still a formidable force, Alfred's ability to defend Wessex and ultimately force a peaceful settlement had major consequences for the future of England. His strategic brilliance, military prowess, and the diplomatic savvy displayed at this juncture would set the stage for his eventual reputation as the Great.